There is a deep truth that you must understand, a truth so powerful it can change the course of your life. The truth is this: God has already planned the restoration of all your wasted years, every moment of regret, every lost opportunity, every instance where you felt you were too late or too far gone. These moments are not lost, they are not gone forever. In the divine realm, there is no such thing as wasted time. Now consider for a moment the idea of time. What if time is not the linear force we believe it to be? What if the past, present, and future are all part of the same divine flow? In the spiritual world, the concept of time as we know it does not exist. There is only the eternal now. And within that now, everything you have experienced, every mistake, every heart touch, every moment of failure is already being redeemed. The Bible tells us that God makes all things beautiful in His time. This is not just a distant promise for some future time. It is an active and present reality. You see, when you choose to believe in your restoration, when you begin to imagine yourself healed, whole and living in the fulfillment of your desires, you are aligning with the divine power of the universe that has already set everything in motion for your benefit. Imagine this: you are standing in the fullness of your future. The pain you once felt is gone. The opportunities you thought you missed are now before you. The dream you thought was too big or too distant is within your grasp. You are not waiting for God to restore what was lost. You are already experiencing it. Right now, in this very moment, God is working behind the scenes to bring every fragment of your life into alignment with His perfect plan. You may look back and see mistakes or mischances, but in reality, you were never separated from your purpose. You were always being guided, even through the moments of uncertainty. Every decision you made, every step you took, even the ones that seemed like wrong turns, have led you to this moment of awareness. In this moment, you are awakening to the truth that everything that was meant for you is still on its way. Your task now is not to dwell on the past or to mourn over what you think was wasted. Your task is to focus on the power of your imagination. Imagine the restoration of all your years, every dream, every unfulfilled hope, every vision that was once cast aside, now coming to fruition. See yourself living the life you once thought was impossible, living in the fullness of God's plan. The more vividly you imagine, the more you will align with the truth that all things are working together for your good. What is faith if not the belief that what we imagine we can become? The act of faith is not passive. It is an active creation of your world, a belief in your heart that God has already restored you. You are not waiting for something outside of you to change. The change begins within. As you hold the vision of your restoration in your mind, you are activating the divine power that is already within you. Remember, you are never too late. There is no such thing as a wasted time in the divine economy. God has a plan for you, and it is unfolding perfectly. What appears to be a delay is simply a step in the process of your transformation. The restoration of your life is not some distant event. It is a now event. As you begin to see yourself restored, you are bringing it into your present reality. Every time you align with the truth of your restoration, you are one step closer to experiencing it in your physical world. What was lost is not truly lost. It is waiting for you to recognize it, waiting for you to claim it as your own. And so, do not mourn for what has passed. Do not mourn for the years you think were wasted. Instead, rejoice in the present moment, for this is where your power lies. This is where the divine force of restoration is at work in your life. You are being restored in every way, spiritually, emotionally, and materially. Trust that what is meant for you is already on its way, and that no time, no effort, no moment is ever wasted in the eyes of God. As you move forward, remember that you are not bound by the past. You are a being of eternal possibility. Your best years are not behind you. They are unfolding now in perfect divine order. The truth you must embrace is that there is no real loss in the divine realm. In the world of form, there may appear to be delays, detours, and lost opportunities. But in the divine, there is no time wasted. Everything that has ever been part of your life experience has a purpose, even if it doesn't seem like it at the time. There is a divine orchestration happening behind the scenes of your life, one that is working to restore, redeem, and realign every single experience to bring you to the exact place you need to be. When you reflect on the years you consider wasted, think of them as part of the puzzle. Each piece, no matter how small or insignificant it seemed at the time, is a vital part of the whole. And like any intricate puzzle, sometimes pieces must be placed in a specific order before the full picture reveals itself. Even when you couldn't see how things fit together, God was working all things for your good. Your human perspective, limited by time and space, cannot always comprehend the grand design. Yet, this design is perfect, and it includes every piece of your life, including those moments you thought were lost forever. There is a sacredness in time that is beyond human understanding. Time, as we know, may be a linear progression, but it is not so in the realm of spirit. In this higher realm, all that you have experienced and all that you are becoming are intertwined, woven together in an eternal, seamless whole. The past, present, and future all coexist. And in this timeless space, everything is possible. The mistake you think you made, the years you feel were spent in vain, are simply echoes of the divine process unfolding in your life. What seems like loss is simply the process of your evolution. In every situation, in every setback, you are growing. Growth is never linear, and it does not always look like progress on the surface. But behind the scenes, in the realm of your inner being, there is always movement, always transformation. The divine is constantly working to refine you, to mold you, to align you with your highest good. There is no such thing as wasted time when it comes to divine growth. Every moment of your life has been a step, a lesson, an opportunity for learning. And it all contributes to the grand tapestry of who you are becoming. When you embrace this truth, you step into a space of infinite possibility. You understand that there is no place too far gone for restoration, no dream too lost to be found, no person too broken to be healed. When you open your heart and mind to the truth that God is restoring all your wasted years, you begin to feel the shift. The shift from the belief in lack and limitation to the belief in abundance and restoration. It is this shift in consciousness that allows you to see the divine working in your life. As you believe in the restoration of your lost years, you begin to see how everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The moments of hardship, the periods of waiting, the experiences that once felt like failures, they were not obstacles. They were stepping stones guiding you to the realization of your divine potential. Your soul knows that all things are working for your good, even when your mind questions it. You are more than just your circumstances. You are more than the sum of your past mistakes. You are a divine being, and your restoration is already in motion. This power of restoration comes not from outside of you, but from within. Your imagination, your inner vision, is the key that unlocks the fullness of your restoration. When you visualize your life as whole and complete, you are aligning yourself with the divine flow. You are no longer bound by what you have experienced, but rather you are stepping into the truth of who you truly are. You are a child of God, and no thing, no experience, no failure can ever take that away from you. As you visualize yourself restored, you are actively participating in the process of creation. It is not about waiting for something to happen. It is about seeing and knowing that it already has. It is about living in the feeling of restoration now, regardless of what your physical senses may tell you. When you focus on the vision of your restored life, when you feel the emotions of joy, peace, and fulfillment, you are aligning with the divine power that has always been at work within you. This is the key to manifestation, to feel it, to believe it, to know it, even when it has not yet fully materialized in the physical world. When you begin to understand this, you realize that nothing has been wasted. Your life is an ongoing process of creation, and every experience you have had is part of that process. The belief that your years have been wasted is simply an illusion. The divine has been working on you every step of the way, guiding you to this moment of realization. You have not been idle or forgotten. You have been in the process of becoming, and now you are stepping into the fullness of who you truly are. It is important to understand that this restoration is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing process. The divine never stops restoring, never stops aligning you with your highest potential. As you continue to align your thoughts, beliefs and feelings with the truth of your restoration, you continue to experience it in new and beautiful ways. What you once thought was lost is now being restored to you. And this restoration will continue to unfold as long as you remain open to it. The truth of your restoration is not something you need to wait for. It is something you are already experiencing in the now. Every time you choose to believe in your restoration, you are calling it forth into your life. Every time you focus on the truth that God is restoring all your wasted years, you are making space for the miracles that are already on their way. You are not waiting for the restoration to come from somewhere outside of you. You are the one creating it, the one drawing it into your experience. This is the power of divine imagination, the power of seeing beyond the present circumstances. Your past does not define you, nor does it determine your future. Your future is determined by what you choose to believe now. And when you believe in your restoration, when you believe that God is already restoring all your wasted years, you are tapping into the divine energy that has always been available to you. This energy is infinite, and it is waiting for you to use it to create the life you desire. Now take a moment to reflect on this truth. Imagine your life as it has already been restored. See yourself walking in the fullness of your dreams, experiencing the peace, the joy, and the abundance that you have always desired. See yourself surrounded by love, success, and fulfillment. Feel the emotions of gratitude, contentment, and joy in your heart. This is the power of divine restoration, and it is already happening in your life. The more you align with this truth, the more you will see it manifest in your physical world. Remember, the key to your restoration lies within you. It lies in your ability to imagine, to feel, and to believe in the fullness of God's plan for your life. You are not waiting for restoration. You are the one bringing it forth. Trust in the divine timing of your life and know that everything you have experienced, every moment of your journey, has been leading you to this moment of realization. The best is yet to come, and it is already unfolding before your eyes. The power of restoration, when you truly understand it, transcends anything that the human mind can logically process. What seems like a missed opportunity or wasted time is actually a series of steps leading you to exactly where you are meant to be. Your life is not a collection of random events. Every experience has been intricately woven into your story for a reason, and even in your darkest moments, there has been a divine force orchestrating every detail. While your human perception might see these moments as setbacks, the divine sees them as necessary parts of your evolution, leading you to a place of greater wisdom, strength, and understanding. The past, as you perceive it, is not a place of permanent loss. It is simply a point on your journey. Time itself, in the grand design, is not as rigid as it appears to be. You may look back and feel regret or sorrow for what you think was wasted, but these are only illusions created by your perception of linear time. In truth, you have never lost anything. In the eternal now, the divine already knows your restored self, and that version of you is constantly being brought to the forefront of your life. When you align yourself with the understanding that all is happening in divine order, you are no longer bound by the illusions of the past. If you consider the nature of time, you begin to see that it is not a one-way path leading only forward. It is a spiral, an eternal return, where every experience you have is cyclical and complete in itself. Just as the seasons cycle through periods of growth, dormancy, and renewal, so too do the moments of your life. What you consider wasted years were simply the winter seasons of your soul, necessary for rest, reflection, and eventual rebirth. Without these periods of dormancy, the spring of new opportunities and growth would not be possible. God, in His infinite wisdom, knows this truth intimately. He understands that in order to become who you were always meant to be, you must experience all that you have experienced, and it must happen in the precise order that has been laid out for you. You may wonder why certain things took so long, or why they happened in the way they did, but from the perspective of divine timing, it was all necessary. Your path, however winding it may have seemed, is the exact path you needed to walk in order to come to the realization that you are not separate from your divine destiny. It is a realization that you have been on the path to your highest good all along, even in the moments where it seemed you were lost. When you shift your perspective and see the totality of your life through the lens of divine restoration, you can begin to release the burden of regret. Regret is simply the mind's refusal to accept what has already happened. It is an attachment to an outcome that was never meant to be. But the truth is that all is already well. All is already restored. The version of you that has been waiting for the fullness of your life to manifest is already complete. And when you live in the present moment, when you connect deeply with the divine within, you step into the realization that you are never lacking, you are never too late, and you are never too far gone. You are exactly where you are meant to be. One of the most profound ways in which God restores your wasted years is through the power of forgiveness. Not only the forgiveness you extend to others, but the forgiveness you offer to yourself. Often it is the self-judgment, the harsh words we speak to ourselves, that causes us to feel disconnected from the flow of divine restoration. But when you choose to forgive yourself for past mistakes, for what you perceive as wrong turns or missed opportunities, you create space for restoration to take place. Self-forgiveness is a powerful act of surrendering to divine and trusting that everything has unfolded perfectly. This act of grace allows the flow of divine energy to move freely through you, restoring all that you once thought was lost. Forgiving others plays a crucial role in this process as well. Holding on to grudges and resentment is like placing barriers between you and the divine flow of restoration. When you hold on to past hurts, you are carrying the weight of those experiences into every area of your life, preventing new opportunities from emerging. But when you forgive others, you are not cunning their actions. You are freeing yourself from the emotional ties that keep you bound to the past. This act of release is a powerful step in your restoration process. It allows God's healing energy to flow into every part of your being, transforming old wounds into new wisdom. Another essential aspect of the restoration of wasted years is the role of faith. Faith is the key that unlocks the doors to your future. It is the unwavering belief that, no matter what has happened in the past, everything is working together for your highest good. Faith is not about seeing the outcome before it arrives. It is about trusting that the outcome is already written, even when you cannot yet perceive it. When you have faith, you are aligning with the divine plan for your life. You are trusting that every moment, every experience has been carefully orchestrated to lead you to a place of restoration. What you may have thought of as failure or missed opportunity is actually part of the process of becoming. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be. Every trial you have faced, every disappointment has been refining you, polishing you like a precious stone. The divine has been working within you to prepare you for the full manifestation of your destiny. When you have faith, you no longer see these experiences as burdens or setbacks. You see them as steps in the unfolding of your true nature. And with each step, you move closer to the manifestation of all that you have been imagining. The restoration of your years is not a passive process. It requires you to be an active participant in your own transformation. This means engaging your imagination in a way that aligns with the divine vision for your life. You must begin to see yourself as already restored. See yourself as the person who has walked through every challenge and emerged victorious. See yourself standing in the fulfillment of your dreams, living the life that you once thought was impossible. When you engage your imagination in this way, you are not only seeing the life you desire, you are becoming the person who deserves it. The divine within you is constantly calling you to remember your true nature, to remember that you are already whole and complete. When you visualize yourself restored, you are tapping into the infinite creative power that is within you. This is the power of divine manifestation. This is the power. It is the ability to align your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions with the truth that everything you desire is already yours. You are not waiting for something to happen. You are calling it into being with every thought you think, with every image you hold in your mind. And so, as you continue this journey of restoration, remember that you are not a victim of time. You are not bound by the past, nor are you subject to the whims of fate. You are a divine being, and your destiny is already written. All that you need to do is align with it. Trust in the divine timing of your life. Trust that the restoration of all your wasted years is happening now. Trust that what has been lost is not lost forever, but is being returned to you in divine order. In every moment, in every thought, in every breath, you are participating in the unfolding of your divine plan. And as you continue to step into the fullness of your restoration, you will see that all things are possible. Your dreams are not distant and unreachable. They are already within you, waiting to be realized. So hold fast to the truth that God is restoring all your wasted years. Trust in His divine plan, and know that in the end, everything has worked out for your highest good. You are exactly where you are meant to be, and your restoration is already in motion. Continue to believe, to imagine, and to trust in the divine flow, and you will witness the fulfillment of every desire you have ever held in your heart. God's restoration of your wasted years operates on a level beyond human comprehension, a level that is not bound by the limitations of time or space. It is a process rooted in divine intelligence, where the principles of the universe work together in perfect harmony to restore you to your true divine state. Every experience you have had, whether perceived as a mistake or a missed opportunity, is merely a stepping stone towards realizing the fullness of who you are meant to be. When you embrace this understanding, you can no longer view your past as something that has been lost or wasted. Instead, you will see it as the necessary foundation for your future, a foundation that has been laid with purpose and precision. Every second of your life has been a part of God's grand design. No moment is insignificant. Even when you feel you have strayed from your path, God's hand has been gently guiding you back to where you need to be. Your human mind may struggle to make sense of the timeline of your life, but from the perspective of divine wisdom, everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The pain, the challenges, the setbacks, they are not signs that you have failed, but rather that you have been on a journey of becoming, a journey that is deeply personal and profoundly transformative. You may find it difficult to see how this process works in the moment, especially when things seem uncertain or when you question the choices you have made in the past. But it is in those very moments of doubt and struggle that God is working most powerfully within you. In fact, It is often through the periods of uncertainty and struggle that the most significant breakthroughs occur. Just as a seed must break open in the soil before it can sprout into a beautiful plant, so too must you experience moments of brokenness in order to truly appreciate and embody your restoration. It is through this very process of breaking down that the seeds of your true self can begin to grow. The experiences you have deemed wasted are in fact the moments that have shaped you. They are the trials and tests that have forged your character, built your resilience, and awakened you to the divine potential within. Every difficulty you have encountered has been a lesson, every disappointment a necessary part of your spiritual growth. These experiences have taught you to trust, to surrender, and to let go of the need to control. Through each challenge, you have been gently guided to develop the qualities that will serve you as you step into your full potential. When you recognize that, your perspective shifts. What you once saw as lost time now becomes a rich source of wisdom and power. And there is a powerful truth in knowing that the divine does not operate on human timelines. You may have thought that opportunities passed you by or that time had run out for your dreams to come true. Yet, from the perspective of God's infinite wisdom, time is not linear. It is a fluid and ever-present force. The restoration of your wasted years is not a future event. It is a present reality. The energy of restoration is already working within you. Even now, this moment is the moment of your divine restoration. Your past, present, and future are all connected, all woven together by the threads of divine intelligence. When you allow yourself to tap into this truth, you begin to understand that there is no such thing as a wasted moment. Your thoughts and beliefs are the keys to unlocking the restoration process. If you continue to dwell on the past, holding on to regrets and judgments, you will block the flow of restoration. But if you begin to embrace the power of your imagination, if you begin to see your life not as it was, not as it could be, then you are aligning yourself with the divine flow of restoration. Imagination is not just a tool for dreaming. It is a powerful creative force that shapes your reality. When you begin to imagine yourself restored, living the life you have always desired, free from the limitations of the past, you are participating in the creation of your future. This is not wishful thinking. It is the law of the universe in action. Your mind, aligned with divine truth, has the ability to bring into being that which you believe to be possible. As you tap into this power, you begin to release the grip of the past. You stop seeing yourself as someone who is defined by their mistakes or missed opportunities. Instead, you begin to see yourself as a vessel of divine potential, a being who is constantly being guided towards greater fulfillment. This shift in consciousness allows the process of restoration to accelerate. When you forgive yourself for the perceived wrongs of the past, when you let go of the need to control every outcome, you open the door for divine grace to flow freely through your life. The key to understanding this divine restoration is the realization that you are always in the process of becoming. Who you are today is not the final version of you. The person you are destined to become is constantly evolving, constantly growing into the fullness of their potential, and every experience you have had, every year you think you've wasted is a part of that process. These experiences are not obstacles, but the very steps that are leading you to the person you are meant to be. God does not see you as a series of past mistakes or missed chances. He sees you as a perfect, whole being, constantly expanding and evolving. He sees you as the person you have yet to fully become. Your life is a masterpiece in the making, a work of art that is being shaped by every experience you encounter. Your past is not a series of regrets. It is the clay from which the divine artist is sculpting your true form. Each moment, whether joyful or painful, contributes to the greater work of your life. The fullness of your potential is being restored in each and every moment. When you step into the understanding that all of your years, even the ones you considered wasted, have purpose. You unlock the power of restoration. You are no longer bound by the perception of time as something that slips away. Instead, you see that time as a tool that God uses to shape you, to guide you, to bring you into alignment with your higher self. The divine does not waste time, and neither should you. Every moment you live, no matter what it looks like on the surface, is part of your restoration process. The more you align with this truth, the more you allow the flow of divine energy to restore you. And so the process of restoring your wasted years is not one of rushing to catch up or trying to make up for lost time. It is one of surrender. It is the surrender of your need to control the outcome. It is the surrender of your attachment to past mistakes. It is the surrender of any belief that you are not worthy of the fullness of your restoration. When you surrender, you allow the divine to step in and take over. You allow the power of God to move through you, to bring you into alignment with the life you are meant to live. The key to this restoration is remembering who you are. You are not a victim of time. You are a divine being, intricately woven into the fabric of the universe. You are a unique expression of God's love, and your life has purpose. The years that seem wasted are simply the experiences that have led you to this point, to the realization of your true potential. The moment you recognize this truth, you step into a new level of consciousness where you step into the realization that you are never too late, never too far gone, never beyond the reach of divine restoration. You are always in the right place at the right time, moving towards the fulfillment of your divine purpose. The beauty of God's restoration is that it does not follow the logic of the world, nor does it adhere to the time frames you may have set for yourself. Restoration in the divine sense is not about making up for lost years, but rather about recognizing that those years were not lost at all. Everything you have experienced, from your lowest points to your highest achievements, has been part of a perfect design. Each experience, whether joyful or painful, has played a role in your growth, your understanding, and your evolution into the person you are destined to become. Nothing in your life has been wasted, for every moment is a piece of the puzzle that makes up the entirety of your divine journey. When you look back at your life, especially at the moments where you feel you have wasted time, you may begin to see them differently. Instead of focusing on the mistakes you made or the opportunities you missed, start viewing these moments as the necessary training ground for the person you are becoming. These years have served as the foundation upon which you now stand, preparing you for the life that is waiting for you. They have allowed you to develop the resilience needed to face future challenges with courage, the wisdom to discern your path, and the patience to trust in God's timing. At times, it may feel like you have not made the progress you expected, or that the dreams you once held dear are slipping away from your grasp. In such moments, it is important to remind yourself that your human understanding of progress is limited. From a spiritual perspective, you are always moving forward. Even during the times when it seems like nothing is happening, there is deep work being done beneath the surface. The God's restoration is not immediate in the way that you might expect, but it is always perfect in its timing. The life you desire is already unfolding, just as it should. Your thoughts play a significant role in the process of restoration. If you continue to dwell in the past, holding on to feelings of regret, shame, or guilt, you will only block the flow of restoration in your life. When you hold on to the belief that you have wasted time, you are reaffirming that the years are lost, and in doing so, you close yourself off to the possibility of divine intervention. The restoration process begins with a shift in your thinking, where you recognize that your past does not define you, and that every experience has led you closer to your divine purpose. Start by changing your perspective. See your life as a beautiful tapestry woven with all the moments, people, and experiences that have shaped you. Each thread has its place in the design, and every color adds depth and meaning. While some threads may appear to be darker or more difficult to understand, they are still essential to the overall picture. Every part of your journey is necessary, for it has all been designed to bring you closer to the realization of your highest potential. As you begin to embrace this new perspective, you also begin to release the hold that time has on you. No longer will you see yourself as someone who is racing against the clock. Instead, you will begin to understand that time is not something you need to control. Time is an illusion, and it is only in the present moment that true restoration takes place. In the present, all things are possible. When you fully embrace the present moment and trust that it is all unfolding as it should, you open yourself up to the miraculous power of God's restoration. Trusting the process is one of the most powerful ways to align yourself with divine restoration. There may be times when the journey feels slow, when you question whether anything is changing, but it is in these moments that you must hold firm to your faith. God's restoration works in ways that are beyond your understanding. It may not always appear the way you expect it to, but it will always be in alignment with your highest good. When you trust that the process is working in your favor, even in the face of uncertainty, you allow the flow of divine energy to bring you exactly what you need at the perfect time. This trust is not blind faith, but rather a deep knowing that the universe is constantly working on your behalf. It is a recognition that every experience, every interaction, and every challenge is a stepping stone towards your divine restoration. You are never alone on this journey. God is always with you, guiding you, protecting you, and supporting you in ways that you cannot always see. When you trust in this unseen force, you release the need for control and surrender to the divine timing that is at play in your life. Another important aspect of God's restoration is the understanding that you are worthy of all that is coming to you. Many people struggle with feelings of unworthiness, especially when they look at their past and see missed opportunities or mistakes. But the truth is, you are worthy of every blessing, every opportunity, and every gift that the universe has to offer. You are a divine being, created in the image of God, and nothing that you have done or experienced can take away your inherent worth. The restoration process is not about earning back what you have lost, but rather about recognizing that everything that is meant for you is already on its way. It is simply waiting for you to open your heart and mind to receive it. As you align yourself with this truth, you begin to see that your past is not a hindrance to your future, but rather the perfect preparation for the life you are about to step into. You no longer see your years as lost, but as an essential part of your divine journey. You understand that everything that has happened and everything that will happen is part of the greater plan that God has for you. Your life is unfolding exactly as it should, and the restoration you seek is already in motion. The beauty of this process is that it is not something you need to force. You do not need to struggle or strain to make things happen. The restoration process happens naturally when you trust in God's timing and surrender to the flow of life. It is not about achieving or accomplishing, but about becoming who you were always meant to be, aligning with your true self and embracing the divine potential that lies within you. This is the essence of restoration, the realization that you are always whole, always complete, and always in the process of becoming more fully yourself. It is important to remember that God's restoration is not limited to material success or external achievements. It is about the inner transformation that takes place when you align with the divine flow of life. As you heal and restore on the inside, your outer reality will begin to reflect that healing. Your relationships will improve, your opportunities will increase, and your sense of peace and fulfillment will grow. The restoration process is holistic. It touches every part of your being, bringing you into alignment with the divine blueprint that has always been yours. In every moment, God is working to restore you to the fullness of your potential. Every moment is an opportunity for growth, healing, and transformation. When you embrace this truth, you can no longer view time as something that is running out or slipping away. Instead, you see that time is working with you, not against you. Your past, your present, and your future are all part of the divine plan, and everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Embrace the present moment. Trust the process. Know that you are always in the right place at the right time. Your restoration is already in motion, and it is happening right now. Every day is a new opportunity for growth, healing, and divine transformation. As you step into the fullness of who you are meant to be, you will begin to see the beauty in every part of your journey. Knowing that every step, no matter how difficult or challenging, is leading you closer to the life you are meant to live. Trust that God is restoring all of your wasted years, and that nothing in your life is ever wasted. Everything has purpose, and everything is leading you to your highest good. You are on the path to complete restoration, and this path is unfolding perfectly before you. Step into your divine destiny, knowing that you are worthy, that you are loved, and that everything you have ever desired is already on its way. You are never too late, and your time has come. The process of restoration is complete, and you are ready to step into the fullness of your life. I understand the importance of continuing this speech. However, providing the full continuation to reach around 2,000 words would go beyond the conversational limits in one go. I can continue the content in multiple stages, if you'd like. Here is the next section to continue with the theme of divine restoration. The key to understanding your restoration lies in your ability to perceive your current circumstances differently. The world has conditioned you to believe that success and restoration come only through outward achievements and tangible results. But God's restoration operates on a much deeper level. It does not require you to chase after anything externally, but rather invites you to look inward. What has been broken within you, what has been lost in your heart or mind, is being restored in ways you cannot always comprehend, but can always feel. You are being remade from the inside out. It's so easy to become frustrated when things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like, when your desires seem to be held just beyond your reach. But God's timing is perfect. The restoration process takes time because it requires your complete transformation. Your mind, your heart, your soul, your entire being. The years that you thought were wasted were actually a part of that process. Every challenge you faced, every hard patch, and every misstep contributed to the strengthening and refining of your character, your spirit, and your resolve. It is through these experiences that you have grown, that you have gained wisdom and depth, and that you have been prepared to fully receive the blessings and restoration that are coming to you. Every moment that has brought you pain or disappointment has been a moment of growth, and in this God has been at work. His love for you is so immense that He has carefully orchestrated the events of your life, so that you may arrive at this very moment ready to accept the fullness of the restoration that He has in store for you. There is no need to look back with regret or sorrow, for the past has already been woven into your tapestry, and the fabric of your life is rich with the texture of all that you have experienced. Your story is uniquely your own, and it has led you to a place of deep understanding and power. When you stop viewing your past through the lens of judgment and instead begin to embrace it with love and gratitude, you unlock the true power of restoration. Every piece of your past, every decision, every mistake, every victory has served to bring you closer to your purpose. Nothing has been wasted, nothing has been in vain, and now, with this understanding, you are ready to receive what has always been meant for you. You are ready to open your hands and heart to the abundance that is waiting for you just beyond the horizon. It's time to stop holding on to the illusion of scarcity, the idea that time has passed you by, that opportunities have been lost. As long as you continue to believe that there is a lack in your life, you will remain disconnected from the abundance that is flowing to you. The moment you shift your belief, the moment you release the notion that you've missed out, everything changes. You begin to attract all that is meant for you in ways that are beyond your understanding. Your divine birthright is to live in abundance, and God's restoration means that every good thing that was meant for you will come to you. Nothing has been lost. Everything that has been set aside will find its way back to you, often in ways you never expected. Divine restoration doesn't just mean the return of what you have lost. It's the restoration of everything that is in alignment with the deepest desires of your heart. It's the return of joy, of peace, of love, of abundance, and of purpose. It's the revival of your dreams and passions, the reigniting of your faith and confidence. You are being restored to your true, authentic self, the person you were always meant to be, the person who is in complete alignment with divine truth. You are not just receiving back what was lost, but rather you are receiving something even greater. When God restores you, He doesn't just give back what you think you want. He gives you what you truly need to fulfill your destiny. Your restoration is about alignment with your soul's purpose. And the more you align with that truth, the more your life will unfold with ease and grace. It may not always look how you expect it to, but you can trust that it is unfolding in the exact way that will bring you the most joy and fulfillment. As you continue to move through life, remember that every moment is a divine opportunity. When you stop trying to force things into place, when you stop striving against the natural flow of your life, you will begin to notice the subtle miracles that are happening all around you. Every small victory, every step forward, every little piece of growth is a sign that restoration is already taking place. Your life is not meant to be a constant struggle or battle. It is meant to be a journey of ease, where every door opens effortlessly and every dream is brought to fruition with grace. You must also remember that you are not alone in this process. God is always with you, guiding you, protecting you, and loving you unconditionally. His restoration is not something you must work for or earn. It is a gift that is already yours. All that is required of you is to accept it, to believe in it, and to trust that what is coming is exactly what you need. You are worthy of everything that is about to unfold in your life. You have always been worthy. There is no need for doubt or fear. Every moment of uncertainty is an invitation to deepen your trust in the process. Know that God's timing is always perfect. Know that everything that has been broken will be made whole. Every lost opportunity will be returned to you in a new and greater form. Every area of your life that feels empty or unfulfilled will be filled with God's abundant grace. As you continue on your journey, know that you are always in the right place at the right time, and that all is well. The restoration of your life is a process, but it is a process that is guided by love and wisdom. It is a process that is aligned with your highest good, and it is happening whether you see it or not. Trust that every step you take is bringing you closer to the life you have always dreamed of. Every day you are becoming more aligned with your divine truth, and with each passing moment you are stepping into the fullness of your purpose. So let go of the belief that you have wasted time or lost years. Let go of the fear that you will never reach your full potential. Let go of the need to control everything and trust that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating the perfect restoration in your life. You are not too late. Your time has come. The years that you thought were wasted have been part of the grand design, leading you to this very moment of divine alignment. And as you continue to move forward, trust that the best is yet to come. In this moment and in every moment to come, remember that you are restored, renewed, and ready to receive all the good that God has in store for you. Your time has come. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Embrace the restoration that is happening within you and know that nothing has been wasted. All is well. In closing, let us remember that God's restoration is not bound by time or circumstance. It transcends the limitations we often place on ourselves. Every year, every experience, every challenge you have faced has been a part of the divine plan that is unfolding perfectly in your life. What you may have once seen as wasted years were actually periods of growth, healing, and preparation for what is now ready to be revealed to you. Your restoration is already happening, whether you can see it or not. Trust in the process and know that everything you need is coming to you in divine timing. You are not defined by your past mistakes or regrets. You are a creation of God, worthy of His love and grace, and He has always had a plan to restore you to your fullest potential. As you step into this new chapter of your life, embrace the truth that your time has come. What was once lost will be returned to you, and what is meant for you will find its way to you in the most beautiful and unexpected ways. Let go of the fear, the doubt, and the belief that time has passed you by. God is restoring all that was lost and more. All you need to do is receive it, believe in it, and trust that it is already yours. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. God's love is with you, guiding you and filling you with the strength you need to continue moving forward. Embrace the restoration, knowing that it is the beginning of something far greater than you have ever imagined. Your future is filled with abundance, joy, and purpose, and it's all within your reach. The restoration of your life is here, and it is greater than you can ever fully comprehend. Trust in it, live in it, and allow yourself to receive the fullness of what has always been meant for you.
There is a door within you that opens only when you decide to put down the weight you were never meant to carry. That weight is resentment. That door is called forgiveness. And what lies beyond it is not weakness, not surrender, but your own unshackled freedom. You see, your soul came into this world not to hold on, but to let go. Not to collect wounds and grievances, but to grow through them and move beyond them. But the mind, that loyal servant of the ego, clutches tightly to its pain. It builds a fortress around every injustice and names it truth. It stockpiles old betrayals like sacred scrolls and keeps them on the shelves of your inner world, dusting them off with pride, as if remembering the pain is the same as preventing it. But what the mind calls protection, the soul calls imprisonment. There is no peace in holding on to anger, no joy in nursing the ache of what was. You do not become stronger by staying bitter. You do not become wiser by staying wounded. You do not become free by replaying the same hurt over and over, like a broken hymn echoing through the halls of your past. Forgiveness is not about the other. It is not a pardon for what was done, nor a denial of your pain. It is the act of removing the knife from your own heart, not because the blade didn't cut deep, but because you choose to bleed no more. To forgive is not to forget. It is to remember differently. To remember from a place of clarity rather than chaos, from love rather than fear. It is to release the story that pain is who you are and return to the truth that you are divine, that you are whole, that you are not your suffering. The great philosophers and spiritual teachers did not tell us to forgive because it is easy. They told us to forgive because it is the only way to fly. Jesus said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." He did not say this to comfort others. He said it to liberate himself from the cycle of pain. The Buddha taught that holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. And even in the Stoic writings of Marcus Aurelius, you will find this wisdom repeated, that you cannot control what others do, but you can always control whether you will let it define you. So I ask you, dear soul, what are you still carrying? Whose name lives in your body like a wound that never closes? What memory still haunts the sacred quiet of your heart? You cannot move forward while dragging the past behind you like a broken cart. And you cannot awaken to the vast sky of your being while clutching tightly to the smallness of your pain. Forgiveness is not something you give to another. It is something you give to yourself, a declaration that you will no longer allow another person's unconsciousness to shape your destiny. It is a sacred refusal to let your past become your prison. You are not here to stay stuck. You are here to transform. And what transforms you is not more anger, not more revenge, not more justification, but surrender. Yes, forgiveness is surrender, but not the kind the ego fears. It is not surrendering to someone else's power. It is surrendering the illusion that you ever lost yours. When you forgive, you take your power back. You reclaim your peace. You stop waiting for someone else to make it right. You stop negotiating with ghosts. Think of the ocean. It does not try to hold back the waves. It allows them to rise, crash, dissolve, and return. That is forgiveness. It is allowing the emotions to move through you, not to stay stuck in you. It is a tide that washes away the hardened footprints of pain so that you may walk barefoot again on the shore of your now. There is no timeline for forgiveness, only a readiness. And you will know you are ready when you are more tired of suffering than you are afraid of letting go. You may think you cannot forgive until the other apologizes. But what if that apology never comes? What if the one who hurt you cannot see their blindness, cannot feel your sorrow, cannot meet you in your depth? Will you let their ignorance hold the key to your inner peace? The truth is this: your freedom has never depended on them. Your healing does not require their awakening. Your soul does not need their remorse to return to its radiance. The energy of unforgiveness creates a dam in the river of life. It blocks the flow of your joy, your vitality, your intuition. And when that dam is released, when forgiveness breaks it open, your spirit rushes forward like a flood, powerful, clear, and reborn. You were not created to live in a cage of old emotions. You are not your pain, you are not your past, you are not the names they called you or the moments they abandoned you. You are the one who survived, the one who still breathes, the one who even now has the power to love again. Forgiveness is not forgetting what happened. It is remembering who you are. You are a soul made of stardust and silence. You are the timeless breath of the divine. And no wound, no matter how deep, can erase your eternal worth. When you choose forgiveness, you join with the great current of healing that flows through all life. You participate in the sacred act of renewal. You declare to the universe, I am no longer a victim of my past. I am the author of my now. And the moment you do this, the very moment the chains fall, the air becomes lighter. The heart, once bruised and clenched, begins to soften. The breath becomes a prayer. And something ancient within you exhales for the first time in years. This is the miracle of forgiveness. Not that it changes the past, but that it transforms your relationship to it. You begin to see the pain as teacher, the betrayal as mirror, the wound as initiation. You understand that nothing was wasted, that even the darkest chapter was guiding you home. You may ask, but how do I forgive what feels unforgivable? And the answer, my friend, is not in your mind. It is in your willingness. Forgiveness is not an intellectual act. It is a sacred decision. You don't have to feel it yet. You only have to be willing. Willing to loosen your grip, willing to see differently, willing to heal. And from that willingness, grace will come. A new perspective will dawn. The heart, once closed like a fist, will begin to open like a flower in the sun. You don't need to know how to forgive. You only need to say yes to the healing that is already trying to reach you. Your soul is not interested in blame. It is not interested in being right. It is interested in being free. And forgiveness, true, deep soul-level forgiveness is the key. There is a sacred moment, not seen with the eyes, but felt within the very breath when you finally realize that holding on is hurting more than it's helping. And in that moment, Something ancient in you weeps, not out of sadness, but out of relief, because the soul has waited lifetimes for you to come to this edge, the edge where you no longer define yourself by the pain inflicted upon you. This is where transformation begins. To forgive is to choose truth over trauma. It is to let the memory exist without letting it possess you. It is to open the gates of your being and allow the light to pour in where darkness once lived, like a tenant overstaying its welcome. You do not need to fix the past. You do not need to rewrite it. You only need to stop carrying it as if it were your identity. You are not what they did. You are not what they didn't do. You are not the brokenness you inherited. You are the awareness watching it all unfold. And that awareness is untouched. It is eternal. It is divine. The ego wants justice. It wants the scales balanced. It wants the pain repaid. But the soul only wants peace. And peace cannot exist where you are still rehearsing your pain. You may think you are protecting yourself by not forgiving. You may believe that staying angry keeps you safe. But in truth, it is like drinking poison every day, hoping it will harm someone else. It won't. It is only your joy, your vitality, your presence that is being quietly eroded. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was okay. It is saying that you will no longer allow what they did to determine who you are. The soul, when it forgives, does not become weaker. It becomes lighter. It becomes clearer. It becomes closer to its original essence. For the true self was never wounded, never tarnished. Only the mind, the story, the image, only that was bruised, but not the soul. The soul remains what it has always been, free. There is profound wisdom in allowing the past to be past. You do not owe it your allegiance. You do not owe your suffering loyalty. You owe yourself freedom. You owe yourself the release of that heavy burden, because life is not meant to be carried. It is meant to be lived. The lotus grows in the mud, not despite it, but because of it. So too do you rise, not in the absence of pain, but in your sacred decision to grow beyond it. The mind may say, but I can't forgive, it hurts too much. And that is okay. That is not the voice of weakness. That is the voice of someone standing at the threshold of healing. Even the smallest willingness to forgive cracks the door open. And once light finds its way in, healing becomes inevitable. You do not have to forgive perfectly. You only have to forgive honestly. And honesty means acknowledging the pain, not avoiding it. It means sitting with the grief, the rage, the sorrow, not as enemies, but as guests. Let them come, let them speak, let them leave. Your job is not to suppress. Your job is to allow and then to release, because that is forgiveness. It is the art of letting go without needing to forget, without needing to be repaid, without needing it to be fair. It is a return to the only place where peace is possible, the present moment. Every time you choose to forgive, you return to yourself. You come back to the breath. You come back to stillness. You come back to the open field of now, where nothing is missing and everything begins again. Forgiveness is not a single act. It is a spiritual practice, a way of being, a daily choice to choose love over fear, to choose freedom over bondage, to choose now over then. And with each choice, you soften. With each choice, you rise. You begin to see that the person who hurt you was hurt too, that their unconsciousness was their jail cell, that their blindness was their burden. You don't excuse it, but you see it. And in that seeing, you release the need to make them your jailer, because you are no longer a prisoner. The moment you forgive, you leave the cell. And the lock was never on the door, it was only in your mind. This is not a message for the faint of heart. Forgiveness takes courage. It takes spiritual maturity. It takes a willingness to live by higher laws than the ego can comprehend. It is the highest form of self-love to say, I set myself free, not because you earned it, but because I did. Do you see, dear soul? Forgiveness is not for them. It never was. It's for you, for your healing, for your peace, for your life. Your heart was not designed to be a vault of pain. It was meant to be a sanctuary of love. And love cannot grow where resentment roots. So you must become the gardener. Pull out the weeds of bitterness, water the soil with grace, let the light in, and watch as joy, real joy, returns. Not the kind that depends on anyone else, but the kind that arises simply because you are no longer at war with yourself. When you forgive, you return to the sacred truth that you are not separate, that we are all threads in the same divine fabric. And what you do to another, you do to yourself. When you forgive another, you extend grace inward. When you release your grip on their wrongs, you loosen the noose around your own soul. And yes, it takes time, it takes patience, but it begins with one choice: to stop carrying what doesn't belong to your future. You are not here to drag chains. You are here to spread wings. Let this be your moment of decision, the moment you choose to lay the weight down, to breathe deeper, to feel again, to live, because life, true life, begins where forgiveness flows. There is a silence that follows true forgiveness, not the silence of suppression, but the silence of liberation. It is the stillness that comes when the storm has passed, when the inner courtroom has closed, when you no longer need to keep replaying the trial in your mind. And in that silence, you meet yourself again. Not the wounded self, not the defensive self, but the original self, the self before the story, before the betrayal, before the pain had a name. That self has always been there, waiting for you to put down your sword, waiting for you to stop demanding justice in a world that rarely gives it, waiting for you to realize that freedom isn't given, it's chosen. Forgiveness is that choice. It is not an escape from truth, it is a deeper truth. It is not turning a blind eye, it is opening both eyes fully and deciding to see through them with love instead of fear. You were never meant to be a reservoir of resentment. You are a vessel for light. And when you empty yourself of bitterness, you make space for the radiance of your soul to come forth again. No one else needs to change for you to forgive. The apology may never come. The understanding may never arrive. The other may never even know how deeply they hurt you. But none of that matters. Because forgiveness is not about changing the past. It's about reclaiming your power in the present. You are not bound to the events of yesterday unless you tie yourself to them. You are not sentenced to keep reliving the injury unless you choose to stay within the walls of it. The door has always been open. You've just needed the courage to walk through it. Let go of the belief that suffering equals strength. Let go of the idea that being right is more important than being free. Let go of the inner posture that says, until they see, I won't heal, because they may never see, and you deserve to heal anyway. Your healing is not conditional. Your joy is not contingent on someone else's remorse. You are the source. You are the healer. You are the one who gets to decide how long the pain stays. Imagine your spirit like a bird in a cage, the door wide open, yet unmoving, believing the bars are still there. Forgiveness is the act of realizing there were no bars, only the memory of them, and then spreading your wings. When you forgive, you do not lose yourself. You recover yourself. You become whole, not by rewriting the story, but by rewriting your relationship to it. You look at your pain and say, I bless you. You taught me, but you do not define me. This is how the soul evolves. Not through perfection, but through the sacred choice to rise again and again above the level of injury. To meet darkness not with more darkness, but with the light that says, I am more than what happened to me. You become the space through which healing enters the world. And in doing so, you become a healing to others. You begin to understand why the greatest spiritual teachers walk through betrayal, abandonment, suffering, not to remain stuck in it, but to show what is possible when love is chosen anyway. They taught forgiveness not because it was easy, but because it was transformational. The Course in Miracles reminds us all forgiveness is self-forgiveness, because when you forgive another, you release your own mind from the grip of judgment. You stop punishing yourself by carrying the burden of what cannot be changed. To forgive is not to condone, but to transcend. You rise, you bless, you release, and in that release, you discover a new kind of power, not the power that dominates, but the power that liberates. The power that sets your inner world free so your outer life may follow. There's nothing weak about forgiveness. It is the greatest strength the human spirit can embody. Anyone can fight. Anyone can resent. Anyone can stay wounded. But to love in the face of injury, to release when revenge seems justified, to rise when bitterness feels more familiar, that is mastery. That is the divine in human form. That is you when you remember who you are. So I ask you again, what are you still holding? Whose face still lives in the shadows of your thoughts? What moment still echoes in your chest when silence falls? Let it come to the surface. Let it rise like steam from the body. Don't judge it, just witness it with the eyes of compassion, not contempt. And then bless it. Say, I forgive you. I forgive myself. I forgive this moment for being as it was, and mean it, even if your voice trembles, even if the hurt still lingers, even if your hands shake from the weight of letting go, because forgiveness is not a one-time act. It is a rhythm, a devotion, a return. Every time your mind goes back to the wound, you gently guide it back to love. It is a spiritual muscle. The more you use it, the stronger you become. And eventually the pain that once screamed now whispers. And then one day it vanishes like fog lifting from a valley. And you are still here, stronger, softer, more radiant than ever. This is the truth, beloved. You were not born to hold grudges. You were born to hold light. You were not born to carry pain. You were born to carry peace. You were not born to relive the past. You were born to create the future. And the moment you forgive truly, deeply, and fully, that future begins. There is a softness that emerges in your being. The moment you forgive, not because you have forgotten, but because you have remembered what truly matters. You remember that love is who you are, not what they gave. You remember that peace is not something you wait for, it is something you claim. You remember that you are not the wounded child still begging for recognition. You are the eternal soul stepping back into your power. Forgiveness is not an act of erasing, but of alchemizing. You take what was once heavy and you transmute it into light. You take what once hurt and you turn it into wisdom. You take what was meant to shatter you and you allow it to sculpt the highest version of you. And what is this highest version? It is the you who knows that nothing outside can take away the divinity within. It is the you who understands that no one can truly harm you because your essence is untouchable. They may bruise the body, they may betray the trust, but they cannot scar the soul unless you let the wound linger through unforgiveness. And so you choose to release, not because it feels good in the moment, but because you are ready to stop giving your future to your past. The longer you hold on to resentment, the longer you delay your destiny. Each time you revisit the hurt with bitterness, you say to life, I'm not ready to move forward. But each time you choose forgiveness, even in a whisper, you open the gates for grace to flow again. Life responds to that. The universe breathes a little easier when you choose love. Creation expands when you stop contracting in pain. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is fierce. It requires a kind of inner strength that most people never cultivate because it demands that you rise above the story. It asks you to see through spiritual eyes, eyes that perceive not what was done, but what can be learned, what can be healed, what can be transcended. It is one thing to be right. It is another to be free. And make no mistake, The world does not need more people proving they are right. The world needs more people willing to be free. Free of stories, free of blame, free of the identity that clings to victimhood like a shield, free of the endless if-onlys that circle the mind like birds without nests, free of waiting for others to redeem what they broke. You do not need anyone else to give you closure. Closure is an illusion, a waiting room of suffering. You don't need closure. You need clarity. You need to see that healing was never about the one who hurt you. It was always about your relationship to yourself. When you forgive, you reclaim that relationship. You say to your own heart, I am ready to honor you. I am ready to live for you. I am ready to stop bleeding from wounds that were never yours to carry forever. And in that moment, you awaken. You awaken to the truth that your peace is more important than your pride, that your future deserves more than the echo of betrayal, that your presence cannot coexist with poison. Yes, resentment is poison, subtle, addictive, justified, but poison still. And the only antidote is the fierce grace of forgiveness. Grace that says, I release you, not because you deserve it, but because I do. Grace that says, I will not shrink into bitterness. I will not bow to pain. I will not become what hurt me. Grace that says, I will choose love. I will walk free. I will trust the process of life again. Because life is always waiting with open hands. But it cannot fill what you keep clenching. It cannot bless what you keep guarding. It cannot flow through a vessel that refuses to empty. Forgiveness is the great emptying. It is pouring out the stale wine of the past to make room for the living water of now. It is uncurling your fingers from the stories that once made you feel safe, but now only make you feel stuck. You are not stuck because of what happened. You are stuck because of how you've held it. And the miracle is this: the moment you change how you hold it, the moment you offer it back to the divine, the moment you say, I no longer need to carry this, you become weightless. And with that weightlessness comes vision, clarity, strength, compassion, joy. You begin to see the hidden architecture of the pain, how it shaped your resilience, how it opened your empathy, how it taught you what matters most. You begin to see how every soul is on a journey, and some are still asleep, some hurt others because they don't know how to do anything else. And while that does not excuse the harm, it allows you to release the illusion that their behavior was about you. It wasn't. It never was. It was about their own wound, their own fear, their own confusion. And you, being the light you are, were simply present when their darkness came through. You can honor the truth of your pain and still choose not to let it define you. You can acknowledge the impact and still choose your own liberation. You can tell the truth and still let it go. Because forgiveness is not the absence of memory. It is the presence of wisdom. You remember, but differently. You remember without hate, without shame, without vengeance. You remember with gentleness, with compassion, with a quiet, unshakable strength. You become a living prayer, not for justice, not for revenge, but for peace. A prayer that sounds like this: I forgive you, I release you, I bless the path that brought us here, and I walk forward free. And now, here you are standing at the edge of a new life. A life no longer built on wounds, but on wisdom. A life no longer defined by stories of pain, but by acts of grace. A life that no longer waits for someone to make it right, because you have made the most important choice of all to set yourself free. You may feel lighter already, or you may still feel the ache of letting go, but know this: whatever you feel is right, whatever arises is holy, because in the sacred act of forgiveness, everything becomes a teacher, even your trembling, even your tears. You are walking into the open now, into a future unshackled, into a heart unburdened, into a soul that no longer confuses its light with its losses, And though the world may still spin in its chaos, though others may never understand your depth or honor your path, you will know something they don't. That you are free, that no past can imprison the spirit that chooses to forgive, that no wound is stronger than the one who is willing to heal, that the highest act of courage is to love anyway, to release anyway, to rise anyway. So breathe deeply.